So let's get to part 2 of decluttering my bronzers, and in today's video I will be doing all of my cream bronzer, high-end and drugstore. They're mostly high-end. I don't have much from the drugstore, but yeah, if you're interested, then keep on watching. So this is the collection we're gonna get into today. If you're wondering where I got these containers from, they're from Amazon and I love them. I 100% recommend them. They come into this little bins like this one. And they also come with little guys like this, and you can see you can put your pencils and everything. I will link everything down below because I really love these containers. So before we get started, I forgot to talk about a couple last time from my powder collection, and I will show you whether I'm keeping this or not. So let's get started and start with the powder ones, and then we're gonna get into decluttering my cream bronzers. So there's 4 powder bronzers that I still had on my vanity that I forgot to talk about. So let's start with the Bahama Mama bronzer powder, and I think this is in the shade Bahama Mama. That's what it's called. This is a very nice natural bronzer. It's powder and I really love it, and I'm definitely keeping it. So I'm gonna go really fast through this because I love these bronzers and they're very special to me. They perform really good. So I'm keeping the Bahama Mama bronzer. I really love the packaging, very easy to travel with. You have a mirror there. So that's a keeper. Of course, I'm going to keep my beautiful Milani bronzer. This is so pretty. It's hard to swatch, but when applied to the face, it looks stunning on the face. And the shade that I have is 02 Sun-Kissed. It's a silky matte bronzer. It's gorgeous. I love this and I recommend this from the drugstore. This is made in Italy. And e.l.f. bronzer, Forever Sun-Kissed. And again, it's a very good, affordable bronzer, very soft to the touch. It's not powdery. And this is definitely a keeper, very affordable from the drugstore. I definitely recommend this one. It's more cheaper than the Milani one. And my Co-Beauty for my sweet Canadians. This is a great bronzer. However, I hate the packaging. You can see it has more of a burnt undertone, but I love this bronzer. So fun to travel with because it's tiny, but I don't like the packaging. So if you do have cream on your hands, it's going to be very hard to just take this lid off. And this is in the shade Natural 1018. So yeah, those are the bronzers I forgot to mention last time. Let's start with the ones that come in packages like this. First one, that's a no-brainer, is my Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. You can see how much I loved it. This is in medium dark, and this is more of a skin enhancer. However, I use it as a bronzer. Oh, it's so pretty. I love it so much. And look at that luminosity and glow, and it makes your skin look really natural, like you have a natural bronze on you. So definitely this is a keeper, and I will definitely repurchase this one. Look how much I loved it. I can't believe it. This is probably the only bronzer that I love so much. So this is a must in my collection. I love it. Oh, here's another one that I have forgotten about and I've started using it. This is the Tarte Breezy Cream Bronzer in the shade Seashells. Seashells, weird how they spelled it. But this is beautiful. Beautiful bronzer, and the way it blends into the skin, it just melts with your skin. Don't worry about this. It doesn't have such a red undertone. It's because I put a lot on my hand. but this blends so nicely on the cheeks and it defines your cheekbones beautifully and it gives it a very nice natural look. I love this bronzer, so I'm keeping this one. Now here is one that I have loved. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Cream Bronzer in the shade Sunkissed. Now this is more of a yellow undertone, so if you don't like that caramel type of tone, you can see right there, then maybe this bronzer is not for you. I know not everyone loves this one. The formula is amazing, but the actual shade, not a lot of people like it, especially if you have a different skin tone than what I do. But for fair skin tones, I really am enjoying this one, and a little bit goes a long way. And I have been loving it. This is definitely one that I've used a lot, so I am keeping it. I'm really loving it. Okay, so let's move on to Fenty Beauty. This is the cream bronzer in the shade Amber 01. Now this is more of a sculpting product. You define your cheekbones because you can see the grayish undertone, so this is just to contour. This is more of a contour bronzer. So I don't have many of the shades in my collection, and I only have this one and her Amber Stick as well. But I am definitely keeping this one because it's so unique and I don't need another one. If you do have this one, no need to repurchase another one. One is enough because you're not going to go through this very often. It's only when you want to contour and then bronze. So keeping this one. I love Fenty Beauty products. Oh, here's one by Huda Beauty. This is the Huda Beauty Contour Bronzer in the shade Light. Love the packaging. It's so cute. I keep the top. Make sure you keep it so that the product doesn't dry up. But again, look how creamy it is. It's so beautiful. And a little bit goes a long way. It's just a very nice sun-kissed bronzer. It melts into the skin and it blends without patchiness and without lifting your foundation. This is a very beautiful cream bronzer. So I'm keeping this one. Now let's move on to Tower 28. This is not their new bronzer. This is the Tower 28 Bronzino West Coast. So it's more of a, I would call this more of a skin enhancer, or for some skin tones, maybe even a highlighter. So you can see the glowiness and shininess through, very similar to the Makeup by Mario Skin Enhancer. So I have a feeling that that's the best way to use it. Or you can also add it on top of your bronzer to give it more of a glowy look. So I just added it on top of the Huda Beauty here. And you can see how nice it just illuminated the bronzer. So I'm definitely keeping it. It's very unique. I'm very interested in the actual bronzer that they just came up with. So I might pick that one up too, but because I really love this one. Okay, here's another one that I have a review on this. This is the Say Beauty bronzer, and this is in the shade Medium Bronze Sun Melt. I love this one. You guys can see that I love this type of tones. I haven't used it in a while because I just have so many, but I will rotate through it and we'll get it. But you can see how nice it just blends into your skin, and I really love this type of undertone, more of a yellow caramel undertone. I prefer this more than the red undertones, but it's just beautiful. You can see how nice it just bronzed the skin. So I'm keeping this one. I have a full review on my channel on this one. And here is another one that is near my collection, Laguna 02 Original Bronzer by NARS. I love this one. I love the packaging. You can see it's very soft and it melts into the skin. It's more of a stronger undertone than this one, but once you blend it, it just blends very, very nicely into the skin, and it just bronzes your skin like you came from under the sun. And it has a very nice luminosity, but not too much of it. So yeah, I'm keeping this one for sure. So here's the first one. So let's go through this one. First one I'm going to talk about is the Merit foundation. When they sent this to me, because they asked me what I want, and I chose this one because at the time they didn't have a bronzer. I chose this foundation that's more darker, and I chose it because I wanted to use it as a bronzer. At the time, again, they didn't have a bronzer, and I thought that by choosing a darker foundation, it's going to look really nice to bronze up the skin. It's going to melt into the skin smoothly because it's a foundation. So yeah, I'm keeping this one. This is very beautiful. You can even use this on your eyelids as a eyeshadow. So this is a multitasking stick. So I'm keeping that one. This I love, and I want to get more by Nude Sticks. This is the Nude Sticks Nudies Matte All Over Face Bronze Color in the shade Terracotta 10. So yeah, on one side you have a cute small brush, and on the other side you have this nice bronzer. You can actually even use this as a blush. It has more of a red undertone, but it's so soft, and when you blend it, it just blends into the skin and eliminates that redness. But you can also use this as a blush, I think. This looks very pretty even as a blush. I know they have a nice blushes as well. But yeah, so I'm keeping this one. It's so pretty. Okay, so let's talk about this bronzer. This is the Lower East Side bronzer in the shade Skyscraper. This I got in a Boxycharm, and I don't know, it's quite muddy. It's very nice actually. I was thinking of decluttering this one. Maybe I'll give it a try. It says 12 months, so maybe I'll give it more time and I will declutter it later on. I don't know. Will I use this? I'll keep it for now, and maybe next time it's going to be decluttered if I don't use it much. So now here is one by Burt's Bees, All Aglow, and this is in the shade Bronze Splash. I don't know about this one. Let's see. It has too much. You can see it's quite patchy, and it has too much glow in it, and it's very red, like golden. So I really don't like this one, and this is probably a declutter for me. I won't be keeping it for sure. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of this type of color. It's golden, and you can see when you blend it, it kind of blends away, and it's patchy. It leaves patchiness on the skin. So definitely this is going to go in the garbage. Now this is the e.l.f. Putty Bronzer, and this is in the shade, it says right here, Tan Lines. So this is the only e.l.f. cream bronzer I own, and it's very pretty. Very subtle look, and very soft on the skin. It doesn't feel heavy at all. So it feels very nice and soft on the skin. So I definitely am keeping it. This is probably not as long wearing as my other ones, but it's my only cream bronzer from the drugstore. So yeah, keeping that one. Actually, I lied. Here's another cream bronzer from the drugstore. This is a dual-ended product. So I have a highlighter on one end. I know this is not about the highlighter, but look at that. So pretty. And the bronzer stick on this end. This is by NYX, by the way. It's a Wonder Stick in the shade Universal Light. So pretty. Isn't that pretty? This is such a nice bronzer. I have been using this a lot, and actually the highlighter too. Once you blend it, it's so nice on the skin. So yeah, this is a keeper for sure. I'm happy I have this in my collection. Now let's move on to the next batch. Yes, I am keeping my Westman Atelier bronzer stick. This is in the shade Biscuit, and look at the packaging. It's gorgeous. It's magnetic, and it is just very pretty. I have been using this a lot. I'm very intrigued by their blushes as well, and the highlighter stick. It's quite expensive, and this is not the mini, this is the full size. So this is so beautiful. You can feel how soft and creamy and long lasting. Even though it's nice and creamy and soft, this lasts very long on your skin. It defines your cheekbones beautifully. I am loving this one. So this is definitely a keeper. Even if the color wouldn't match me, I would keep this because it's so expensive. Okay, so here is a fun one. Now, when I bought this is when I first started my YouTube channel. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is the Mink Stick Foundation Contour. So I don't know if it's a foundation. I took it as a contour stick, but look at that. Now, when I bought it because it was at TJ Maxx and I got a great deal, and it's Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I didn't know much, but this is a perfect shade for contouring. Remember that Fenty Beauty bronzer, contour bronzer that I showed you? You see that? Very similar, but this comes into a stick. This is a little bit more grayish, I guess. This has a little bit more warmth to it once you blend it, but look at that. Yes, you can see this is a little bit more warm. But I bought this because it was a good deal. Didn't know much about contouring, but I'm keeping this one because this is a good contour stick for sure, and it's very easy to travel with, and the packaging is just so nice and elegant and pretty. So yeah, I'm keeping this guy. Now let's talk about Rare Beauty. Now this is the Rare Beauty Power Boost Bronzer Stick. I love the logo. I don't like the packaging on this. Just a chubby stick, but I just don't like something about this packaging. Not a big fan, but I love Rare Beauty, and I do love the bronzer stick. This wears so nice on the skin. It's such a nice warm bronzer, very sun-kissed type of shade you get on your cheek, and it's very natural looking. You don't get patchiness. It doesn't lift up your foundation. Very, very good bronzer stick, and very affordable from Sephora compared to my other ones. But yeah, make sure you close it. So I guess it's okay. I love the color, the aesthetics of it. There's something about it, I guess, because it's too chubby. Yeah, I like it. I'm keeping it. Here's another chubby one, but I do love this packaging. This is the Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Shaping Stick in the shade Medium. Always open the brush first. I wonder how I can... Okay, this is how I'm going to remember it. Where it says by Mario is the brush, and where you don't have by Mario is the actual bronzer, and here it is. I have been using this a lot. Look at that, very similar to the Rare Beauty one. Nice golden undertone. I love it. I love this so much. I love Makeup by Mario complexion products. This is definitely a keeper, so I guess keep in mind where you see by Mario, there is the brush. Because I see a lot of people removing this brush because it's annoying. You can actually travel like this too. It makes it a little bit lighter. But yeah, if you want to have a brush, in case you never know, you forget your own brushes, this is how you remember that where the writing is, it's where the brush is. So I'm keeping this one. I have my LYS bronzer stick. I have a review on this one, and this is the No Limits Harmony bronzer stick. You have to rotate it for the product to come out. I don't like the packaging of this one so much. Very hard to take pictures of because it doesn't sit properly. I guess you can take pictures this way, but yeah, this is a very nice bronzer, very pigmented. A little bit goes a long way. You don't want to put too much. Maybe it's best to go with the sponge into the actual tip, and that's how you should apply it. But this is a very nice bronzer stick. It lasts a long time. Let's see how much I have left. Ooh, I don't want it to fall out, but I can still rotate it, and you can see how much I have left. I can still go. Let's see, hopefully it comes back down. Yeah. So yeah, I love that the twister actually works, because this one's with twisters like this. Sometimes they get stuck and you have to use your hands to push it, but not this product. This is a great product. So check out my review on this. I have a full review on it. Ooh, this is another one by Fenty Beauty. I love this one. This is the one in the shade Amber Suede. And this is a great contour stick, but I also use it as a bronzer because it has a little bit more warmth than the actual contour product. This is the Fenty contour product, and this is the one in the shade Amber Suede, which is more warmth. You can see the difference. So they are very special in my collection, and they both have a spot in my makeup collection. They're very beautiful products. I love it. So I'm keeping it. And here is the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand, the Hollywood Contour Wand, and this is in the shade Fair Medium. Now, packaging is quite gross. I know a lot of people don't like it. This, you make sure you open, and let's use whatever is on here. I don't want to squeeze more out. It's a very nice product. Like, I love it. It's just more of a wet formula. So just be careful and go slow when you blend it on your cheekbone. Oh, I made a mess here. But yeah, I'm definitely keeping it. Charlotte Tilbury is expensive. I love the tube because it's easy to travel with. And it's thin, easy to store, and it's a very nice shade. So just be careful with it because it's more of a wet formula. So it's a little bit more tricky to blend. You don't want to lift up and create any spots on your cheekbones. Yeah, so let's go ahead and organize this now in the bins. Okay, so here we have all of my high-end cream bronzers. Here we have all the cream bronzer sticks high-end, and this is my drugstore collection of cream bronzer, which I don't need any much more. So I think this is enough. I might even have to put this guy's probably here. So we don't need another bin for that, and I think this is it. This is my full cream bronzer collection, and we only got rid of the Burt's Bees one, so this is gonna go bye-bye, but the rest I'm keeping. I hope you guys really enjoyed this decluttering with me and looking through my bronzer collection. I know I love this type of videos, and if you did, don't forget to subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Love you guys. Bye.